Hello, I'm Richard Woodruff, the City Manager of the City of Jacksonville. Today, as we continue our series on the recovery from Florence, we're privileged to have a young lady with the Small Business Administration, Laurie Dana. Now, Laurie, when we think about the hurricane and the Small Business Administration, what's the role that SBA brings to a community such as Jacksonville?
Well, when there's a presidential disaster, the SBA, Small Business Administration, helps not only businesses, small businesses, but they help businesses of all sizes, but they also help homeowners and renters and nonprofits.
How does that help come?
That help comes in the form of low interest, long-term disaster loans. The first thing people should do is register with FEMA. And in many cases, FEMA will refer them to the SBA to complete a disaster loan. And we really encourage them to do that. It's part of the process. It doesn't cost anything. It's just a little bit of time, and it's an option should you need that.
So, for example, if I'm a business and I've had damage to my business, the physical building, you're saying there's the possibility that they could get a low-interest loan to rebuild or to repair their business?
That's right. Businesses can apply for loans to repair, replace their assets, such as their buildings, inventory, supplies, any property that was damaged by the storm. Businesses can also apply for working capital loans to help them pay the bills that they would have been able to pay if the hurricane hadn't happened.
So let's say for discussion purposes that I'm a small business. The roof came off of my rental property that I was in. All of the inventory I have has been damaged. Obviously, I have no cash flow coming in, but I need to have money to rebuild, to work on my inventory, to work on any upfitting of the building. That's my responsibility, while some of it obviously would be the owner's responsibility. And then potential money for helping fund the employees when they're coming back to work. Is all of that possible through a loan?
The first thing that they should do is fill out an application. Everything is a case-by-case basis. They can apply for the property that's theirs. The landlord can apply for their buildings and stuff, but the property that is the actual business. Landlords of homes can also apply for disaster loans as a business. Homeowners, they can borrow up to $200,000 to make repairs to their primary residence. So they can apply for disaster loans for primary residences repairs. And homeowners and renters, they can apply for disaster loans for the contents of the home, their personal property. That includes automobiles, anything that was destroyed by the storm. They can apply for disaster loans.
So normally the SBA, we think of it as being, as it says, small business, but you're saying because of the presidential declaration of a disaster, it also opens up SBA assistance to homeowners. It opens it up to people who rent property. It opens up to the person who owns the rental property, as well as small and even larger businesses.
Yes.
Now, how do you go about, I know in Jacksonville, we normally do not have an SBA office. My understanding is y'all are opening an office on Western Boulevard. Where is that going to be?
Okay, there is a disaster recovery center that's on the corner of Huff and Western Boulevard at the old, I forgot the name of it.
I think it's Don Williamson Automotive there.
Yes, and people can go there. They can register with FEMA, get assistance with their FEMA applications. They can also apply for a disaster loan right there. If they register with FEMA and FEMA refers them to complete a disaster loan application, we really encourage them to do so. It's part of the process. If they're denied a disaster loan, they'll be referred back to FEMA for any other assistance that might be available, but they need to fill out that disaster loan application. The other thing is they don't have to accept the disaster loan if approved. They have time to make up their mind whether to accept it. They don't have to wait for their insurance. If they wait till after the deadline, it's too late. So we just encourage people to go in there as soon as possible, get the process started, register with FEMA, fill out a disaster loan application if referred by FEMA, and And
Start the process
Start
is
the
the
process,
important
yeah.
thing. So again, SBA is working hand in hand with FEMA.
Yes.
The important thing is to register with FEMA. At the same time, they can register with SBA. And we have three ways that they can register. One is to go online at disasterloan.sba.gov. Now, let me spell that out to you. Disaster, DISASTERLOAN .sba.gov.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, you can do that from your home or from any place that you have the connection. Second thing is to come in person, and again, that's 312 Western Boulevard. That is between the Chick-fil-A and the
The mall?
mall. They're at the Don Williamson Motor facility at the corner of Huff and Western. And then, of course, the third thing they can do is simply call and get information, and from there they can decide.
Well,
The number-
they can call that 1-800-659-2955 and have an application mailed to them, but they have to keep in mind that it's snail mail, so the other ways are a little faster. Yeah, but that is an option for those that don't want to go online or don't want to visit a.
Many of
disaster
us
center.
have insurance, and while we think the insurance is going to cover all of the damage, what we may find is that the insurance policy had a limit. And let me just give you an example. Let's say that the roof came off the house, that there was a lot of drywall damage, all the carpets, all the ceilings, all the furnishings. Your individual insurance policy may have a limit, and let's just pick a number of $20,000 for content. But if your content was substantially more than that, it's possible that by filling out an SBA loan that you could get a loan to cover the variance or difference between your total loss and what's your own insurance policy.
Correct.
There are no guarantees, but one thing is guaranteed. If you don't apply, nobody's going to knock on your door and say, by the way, here's some assistance. Let me give you another example. In the same situation, while your contents may have been covered by your insurance policy, there may be so much damage to your drywall, to some of the supporting members of your home, that the content was covered relative to furnishings and clothing, but the actual building, you did not have enough coverage. So let's say that there was $100,000 worth of damage to your overall home, but your insurance policy is only going to pay you $50,000. SBA can possibly give you a low-interest loan that will fill that difference between what your total out-of-pocket is going to be versus what your insurance. So, Laurie, let me ask again. First thing they do is file with FEMA.
That's the first thing.
Second thing they do is contact their own insurance policy.
That's right.
Third thing they do is fill out an SBA loan application. Now, by filling out the application, they're not required to take the loan if approved. They're not guaranteed that SBA is going to give them money.
Right.
But it gets them into your system. Is that the way the process works?
Those are all important points, yes. The main thing is to apply, and then you don't have to accept the loan if you're approved. If you're denied, you're referred back to FEMA for any other assistance that might be available, but you have to fill out that disaster loan application to qualify, so it's important to do that. You don't have to make up your mind right away if you're approved. You have time to wait. So, and the interest rates for homeowners and renters is the lowest 2%, with terms up to 30 years. Homeowners can apply for disaster loans for up to $200,000 to to repair their home, their primary residence. And homeowners and renters can borrow up to $40,000 to replace the contents of their homes, and that includes automobiles. Businesses of all sizes can apply for disaster loans to cover losses and damages to their inventory, to their supplies, to their buildings, their assets that was destroyed. Then they can also apply for working capital loans to help them pay the bills that they would have been able to pay if the hurricane hadn't hit.
We strongly encourage you to contact SBA, even though you have insurance and even though you may have a mortgage, or even if you have a car loan that's not completely paid off. It's important to contact the SBA to learn more about the opportunities and the potential help that they can give. Lori, we welcome you to our community. My understanding is that your office is only going to be open here for a relatively short period of time. We don't know exactly how long that will be. But again, it's essential that if you're interested in assistance from SBA, you make this contact today.
And don't disqualify yourself. Don't think, oh, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna qualify for a loan. Just go in there and apply. It's more important that your ability to pay, that you have the ability to pay than your credit scored. So don't disqualify yourself. Everything is a case-by-case basis. If you have questions, go to the Disaster Recovery Center. There's somebody that can answer questions and help you step by step through the process.
Lori, thank you very much for coming to Jacksonville.
Thank
We
you
wish
for having me.
Our very best while you're here. And again, folks, please take advantage of this tremendous opportunity to potentially get assistance through the SBA, the Small Business Administration. Lori, thank you.
Thank you.